bet my social security number that you will never see Gucci Mane or Pooh Shiesty standing next to each other again, on a picture again, never on a song again. That shit'll never happen.
Damn, man, that's crazy. So that's stamped.
The streets have been buzzing about this situation for weeks, and now we're finally getting some clarity. Gucci Mane has officially spoken out about getting robbed by his own artist, Pooh Shiesty. And honestly, nobody saw this response coming. We're talking deleted posts, money getting pulled back, and a level of disrespect that has the hip-hop world in shock. But before we get into Gucci's cold response, we have to rewind and look at how things even reached this point. How does a mentor and student relationship turn into one of the most disrespectful betrayals hip-hop has seen in a long time? Stay locked in because this story is way deeper than it looks, and Gucci's reaction only made it more personal. Let's start with the foundation. Gucci Mane has been a legend in this game for more than 20 years. He helped shape the trap sound that runs hip-hop today. From his early mixtape grind to turning 1017 into a powerhouse label, Gucci has a long history of finding talent and helping artists grow into major names. His track record speaks for itself. Now, Pooh Shiesty, whose real name is Lantrell Williams, came up out of Memphis, a city known for producing some of the toughest rappers in the game. Long before music was ever a career, Pooh was already active in the streets. His name carried weight, and not in a good way. But that street reputation eventually became part of what made his music hit so hard. He had that raw energy that reminded people of early Gucci Mane. No polish, no pretending, just real stories from real situations. And that authenticity is exactly what caught Gucci's attention. Here's where it gets interesting though. Pooh wasn't some random unknown artist when Gucci found him. He already had a buzz in Memphis. People were already talking about him. What he was missing was the industry backing and guidance to take things to the next level. The story of how Gucci Mane first heard about Pooh Shiesty is actually wild. The word is Gucci heard about him through street connections, people who understood both the music business and the streets. When Gucci finally listened to Pooh's music, it clicked immediately. The talent was obvious, but more importantly, the perspective was real. In an industry full of manufactured images and fake personas, Pooh Shiesty felt authentic. The signing itself didn't take long. When Gucci sees potential, he doesn't drag things out. He reached out directly and the conversation was simple. Gucci saw the upside. Pooh needed a platform. And 1017 needed that Memphis sound. For Pooh, signing with Gucci Mane was a major moment. He went from being a local Memphis rapper to being part of one of the most respected labels in hip-hop. Gucci didn't just sign him and disappear. He mentored him, plugged him in with top producers, and put the full power of 1017 behind his career. In the beginning, everything looked solid. Gucci was the experienced mentor. Pooh was the hungry artist ready to learn. Together, they were making music that caught the attention of both the streets and the industry. Nobody would have guessed how this story was going to turn out. But then reality hit. Pooh caught a federal case and ended up doing time, putting his career on pause right when it was starting to gain real momentum.
Popular rapper arrested. He's accused of shooting a security guard at a South Florida gentleman's club and will remain behind bars. A judge denied bond for 21-year-old Lantrell Williams.
And it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Rhode Island says you're wanted with
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest.
For most artists, this would have been the final chapter, but Gucci Mane has never been a typical label boss. While Pooh was behind bars, Gucci never let his name fade. He continued to bring him up in interviews, shared posts about him online, and made sure the world remembered the young rapper out of Memphis. That level of loyalty from a label owner is uncommon, and it proved how strongly Gucci believed in Pooh's future. As Pooh sat in prison, hip-hop didn't slow down. New faces came in, sounds shifted, and the culture kept moving forward. Still, Gucci made sure that when Pooh eventually came home, there would still be space for him in the game. The buzz around Pooh Shiesty's release was real. Fans, insiders, and artists alike were watching closely, waiting to see how he would use his second chance. Gucci had done his part by keeping the door open, but it was up to Pooh to step through it. When Pooh was finally released, Gucci publicly welcomed him home almost immediately. The Instagram post felt sincere. with Gucci sharing how proud he was and how excited he was to get back in the studio together. But during Pooh's absence, something had shifted. Instead of reconnecting closely with Gucci after his release, Pooh began leaning more toward his Memphis ties, especially Yo Gotti and CMG. This is where things start to get messy, because Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane have a long and serious history. Their issues stretch back years and go far beyond music. The tension between them isn't just industry-related. It's rooted in respect, territory, and deeply personal matters. The core of the conflict traces back to Gucci's wife, Kishia Kawar. Before becoming Mrs. Gucci Mane, she was involved with Yo Gotti while Gucci was incarcerated. When Gucci learned about it, the damage was permanent. In street culture, there are lines you don't cross, and getting involved with someone's woman while they're locked up is one of the biggest violations. So when Pooh Shiesty began openly showing support for Yo Gotti, it wasn't just about hometown pride. It looked like taking sides in a feud that carried serious personal weight for Gucci. Every CMG shout-out or appearance at Gotti events felt like a direct insult to the man who had kept his career breathing. Still, the Memphis pull was strong. That was where Pooh was from, where his people were, and Yo Gotti represented local success in a way that Gucci, as an Atlanta figure, never truly could. But loyalty in hip-hop isn't just about geography, it's about who was there for you when you needed them most. Then everything took an unexpected turn. Rumors started circulating that Pooh Shiesty had allegedly robbed Gucci Mane. This wasn't just about disrespect or a business fallout. The talk was that Gucci's jewelry and cash were taken at gunpoint. According to street sources, the incident reportedly happened during a studio session in Dallas. The story goes that Pooh was in the studio with Gucci along with members of his circle when tensions suddenly boiled over. Whether the conflict was over money, respect, or the ongoing strain caused by Pooh's Memphis affiliations, things escalated quickly. The full details remain unclear, but several sources have confirmed that Gucci was forced to give up his watch and wedding ring. For someone like Gucci Mane, who has navigated both the streets and the music industry for decades, being robbed by his own artist represents the highest level of disrespect. What made it even more damaging was that this wasn't a random incident. It was allegedly carried out by someone Gucci trusted deeply, someone he poured time, money, and belief into, someone he treated like family. That betrayal cut far deeper than the loss of valuables. The fact that people from Pooh's side were involved only made it worse, showing this wasn't a spontaneous situation. It appeared to be premeditated, suggesting Pooh had been thinking about crossing Gucci long before it actually happened. From Gucci's point of view, this had to feel like the ultimate betrayal. He kept Pooh's name alive during his time behind bars, welcomed him home publicly, and this was how it ended. This is where Gucci proved why he's survived in this industry for so long. Instead of reacting emotionally or flooding social media with angry posts, he made quiet, calculated moves that spoke louder than any diss track could. The first move was subtle but unmistakable. Gucci deleted the welcome home post for Pooh Shiesty. In today's social media era, that move carried real weight. It signaled that Gucci was officially cutting ties and distancing himself from everything they had built together. The real statement, though, came financially. Sources close to the situation say Gucci immediately moved to reclaim whatever money and assets he had given Pooh after his release. Whether it was advances, jewelry, or other support, Gucci made sure to take back what he could. The move was precise and effective because it hit where it hurt the most, both financially and publicly. By pulling the money and removing all visible support, Gucci made it clear that the relationship was over and no longer recognized. What made Gucci's response so effective was that it stayed strictly legal and business-driven. He didn't give anyone fuel by reacting emotionally or resorting to violence. Instead, he simply cut off the support and moved forward like Pooh was never significant to begin with. For someone like Pooh, who was still trying to rebuild his life and career after prison, losing Gucci's backing was a major blow. The industry connections, the financial support, and the credibility that came with being a 1017 artist all vanished overnight. This situation also put a spotlight on the long-standing tension between Memphis and Atlanta in hip-hop. Both cities have deep musical roots, and artists who take serious pride in representing where they're from. For Pooh Shiesty, siding with Memphis wasn't just about location. It was about identity and where he felt he truly belonged. In Memphis, he was celebrated as a hometown star. In Atlanta, he was simply another name on Gucci's roster. Yo Gotti symbolized everything Pooh aspired to become, a Memphis icon who built an empire while staying loyal to his city. CMG offered something that 1017 never really could: the opportunity to be the face of Memphis hip-hop. But in hip-hop culture, loyalty is supposed to go beyond city lines. When someone believes in you, invests in you, and keeps your name alive during your lowest moments, that creates a bond that should outweigh hometown allegiance. Pooh choosing Memphis over loyalty made his priorities clear. He picked immediate validation and local acceptance over the long-term relationship that had actually kept his career alive. For Gucci, this likely hurt on a deeper level because his belief in Pooh went beyond business. He genuinely saw potential in the young Memphis rapper and was emotionally invested in his success. The industry watched everything play out with a mix of disbelief and understanding. On one side, betraying your mentor is inexcusable. On the other, the pull of hometown loyalty is something most artists can relate to. Other 1017 artists were definitely paying attention, wondering if their own loyalty would ever be tested. Gucci's response sent a strong message: cross the family, and you're cut off completely. Industry veterans connected to both sides found themselves in an uncomfortable position. Many understood both perspectives but couldn't publicly defend Pooh's actions. Meanwhile, the Memphis hip-hop scene was split. Some backed Pooh for standing with his city, while others felt he went about it the wrong way. You can represent your city without crossing the people who helped put you in position. Atlanta artists didn't hesitate to side with Gucci, and that was expected. Atlanta's hip-hop scene is tightly connected, and disrespecting one of its legends is seen as disrespecting the entire city. This situation also brought attention to the broader regional dynamics in hip-hop, especially the contrast between different regions and how they view loyalty, respect, and business. In the end, both sides walked away losing something. Pooh lost a powerful mentor and one of the strongest industry connections he could have had. Gucci lost an artist he truly believed in and spent real time and money developing. For Pooh, the short-term reward of Memphis approval may not outweigh the long-term damage of burning bridges with one of hip-hop's most influential figures. Gucci's influence runs deep, and having him on the opposite side could quietly close doors in the future. For Gucci, this was a reminder that loyalty isn't something you can buy or force. You can give opportunities, but you can't demand gratitude or commitment. The hip-hop community watched and learned that even the strongest mentor and protege relationships can fall apart when loyalty is tested and bad choices are made. Talent alone isn't enough to survive in this industry. It takes judgment, loyalty, and the ability to manage complicated relationships. This situation also showed how personal history and business are often tangled together in hip-hop. The unresolved tension between Gucci and Yo Gotti over Kishikawa put Pooh in a position where he had to choose sides, and that choice had consequences. At its core, this story is about respect and loyalty. Gucci Mane was justified in feeling betrayed, and his response was calm, controlled, and strategic. He didn't turn the situation violent, but he made sure the message was understood. Pooh's decision to rob the person who mentored him will likely follow him for the rest of his career. In an industry built on reputation and relationships, betrayals like this don't fade easily. What makes it worse is that none of this had to happen. Pooh could have stayed connected to Memphis while still honoring the relationship that helped elevate his career. Instead, he chose the most damaging route possible. For fans of both artists, the situation is frustrating because it represents wasted potential. The music they could have created and the success they could have shared is gone because of poor decisions and divided loyalties. But this is hip-hop, where loyalty matters and betrayal comes with consequences. Gucci's response is exactly why he's lasted as long as he has. He knows how to handle disrespect without self-destruction. The story isn't over, but the lesson is clear. Don't turn on the hand that helped you rise because it can just as easily take everything back.